Welcome to episode 100 of Rail Talk, live from the Fasig-Tipton sales grounds. We're so stoked to be here. We're always stoked, but we're especially stoked to be here this week. I'm Joe Bianca. I'm an ownership advisor at West Point Thoroughbreds. And, we had some big upsets over the weekend on the racetrack, but the biggest upset of all, I'm not hungover after the first night of the sale. Let's go, John. We're growing up.
Jonathan Green, general manager of DJ Stables. So happy to be here in beautiful Saratoga Springs, here on site at Fasig-Tipton sale. And Joe, it's not like there's a wall between us anymore.
I know.
I can actually come over and
reach out and
touch you and everything. It's so good to see you.
Yeah.
We have our crew here. We of course have our intrepid producer, Patty Wolf, here as well on site. And a full audience as well. So thank you all for coming.
You hear that? Woo! Let's get it. Let's start the show.
The opinions expressed on Rail Talk are those of hosts Joe Bianca and Jon Green and do not reflect those of anybody we work with or work for.
All right, so this is a huge week for Saratoga, obviously because of the sale, but it follows Whitney weekend, which is on par, I think, with the Travers as the biggest racing weekend of the meet up here. And, the star-studded card, all the grade ones we talked about last week, but we're going to talk about the big race, unfortunately, in particular, with Sierra Leone getting up late to win the Whitney. And if a horse could stick up a middle finger, I think that's what he would have done passing by me in the stretch of that race. Because, I've been critical of Sierra Leone. I think I called him the equine chandelier because he needs a perfect setup and he doesn't always get there. And he didn't get a good setup with the rabbit in the race, the other Peter Brandt horse. But Fierceness got a very good trip too. And, he stuck his head in front at the 8th pole, looked like he was going to go on with it. And he really had no excuse not to get there. The worst part for me was I gave out Highland Falls on the show last week. Remember that? And Highland Falls ran huge because he was right in that same spot as Fierceness, on the turn. And he stuck it out until like the last 70 yards or so, and then Sierra Leone ran by him. Listen, Sierra Leone, I said this before, any of us would love to have him in the stable. Super talented, multi-millionaire, Breeders' Cup Classic winner, obviously going to be a great stallion prospect. I felt like I just intrinsically, viscerally don't like horses who need that setup to get it done. Sure. But, he was the best horse on Saturday, and I don't think that's up for debate.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would confuse Sierra Leone with, explosive, quick twitch. Those aren't adjectives that you use for a horse like that. But all he does is hit the board. I mean, he is a machine. He's an ATM. And when the race sets up perfectly for him, like it did this weekend, he takes advantage of it. He is certainly a phenomenal horse. All the lads were here. They all came over from Ireland, and I think there were like 4 or 5 people actually walking him in from Peter Brandt to the lads at Coolmore, and that was a great scene. There were 50,000 people here, and almost $50 million wagered on that day. So it really, from top to bottom, was a great card, great day weather-wise, and that put the kind of the exclamation point on a phenomenal day of racing.
Yeah, no, it was terrific, and it was, we spent about a minute and a half talking about other horses, so now we're going to talk about a horse that we care about. In particular, exactly, yeah. So Ewing in the Saratoga Special, it was only a 4-horse field, but Obliteration was in the race, and it was pretty much a match race between those two once the other scratches happened. I wasn't here, I was out at Del Mar. John, you were here. Tell me a little bit about that experience.
Well, the interesting thing was the pre-race, because in the normally in the paddock, Mark Casse is very stoic. He doesn't give instructions to the riders, and he's pretty much like, I have Jose Ortiz on the horse. He knows how to ride a horse. He knows how to ride in a 4-horse field. He can certainly handle this. I'm not going to give him any instructions. Nay, said Mark Casse on this day. Instead, he decided to tell Jose, this horse we're trying to get to go longer. We want him, this race is important. It's a grade 2, Saratoga Special, but obviously we're looking for bigger and better things, maybe going around 2 turns, and we want him to be able to settle. We don't want him to be so speed crazy like he was his initial race. So, of course, what happens? Jose decides that rightfully so, that he's not going to warm the horse up, that he's going to make sure that the horse kind of settles and doesn't break. And that's what happened in the first 3 seconds of the race.
Right.
It's like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi out of the gate. And then all of a sudden, the horse, Ewing was like, oh, there's a hole up the rail.
Bang.
And that was it. So I actually, Mark and I, after the race, we went back and watched the videotape and we clocked it by hand. And Ewing from the gate actually ran the first half mile in 44-3. That's how fast he ran. And I know it was like 45-1, officially. Yeah. But his time actually, from the time that the gate opened until he actually started running, So he really made up ground. He did exactly what we thought Obliteration was going to do, which is go to the front. Instead, we went to the front, and they just kind of dogged each other the whole time, Joe. And I think they were officially 12 or 13 lengths up on the rest of the field, and they got tired. They went the last 16th of a mile in 7 seconds, which on a tiring racetrack, definitely showed. It took a lot out of the horse. But, again, he won, and I said there were 50,000. It seemed like there were 50,000 people in the winner's circle.
Right.
Albeit the most important person, was out in California. But, the rest of us was there to basically, begrudgingly take the trophy and have to drink champagne and, eat strawberries and everything like that. But we did toast you.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you did, because I texted John on Terry. I was like, yes, sir. And then John texted me like 6 hours later, yes, he's special. We're supposed to be boys. Like, that's what I get from you. But I understand he was busy. He eventually called me. But yeah, that had to be a lot of fun. I saw the video from where the West Point crew watches from the big screen. Everybody was going nuts. So that's what it's all about. And obviously, it's a great partnership between DJ and West Point. A lot of great people on him. I think the question now is, how far does he stretch out? Because he did only get a 71 buyer. I don't think that's a huge deal. I don't think that's a huge deal, just because the nature of the race, it was a match race. Right. They were like, if there were other horses in the race, they probably would have settled a little bit more. Yep. But because they had to go after each other, because they were each other's main competition, they got tired late. So I don't put too much stock in the buyer, but because of his speed, I think there's naturally going to be a question how far he wants to stretch it out. Nick's Go did win the Breeders' Cup Classic, but I feel like he was probably better around a mile or so. So that's going to be an interesting next step for him. It sounds like he's not going to go to the Hopeful. Correct. Cassie's going to, bring him back to Kentucky, because the race probably took a good amount out of him. Yep. And then we have Curtain Call in the Hopeful as well. So it sounds like he's going to go to the Iroquois next. So that'll be a good next step up. It's a 1-turn mile. Right. And then if he passes that, then he's got to be going to the Juvenile.
I would think so. Basically he stamped his ticket. By winning this grade 2. He has enough points, in essence, to be able to run in the Breeders' Cup, Juvenile, if that's where we want to go. Mm-hmm. If he shows that he can do it. I think the key for him, and the way that Mark trains these boys especially, is Mark likes to have this gradual effect and improvement and of distance. And he likes to go 5.5, 6.5, 1-turn mile, then 2 turns mile and 16th. He also, Joe, wants to have the horse train at Churchill Downs, because if aspirations are, obviously the Breeders' Cup, and then also to have the Kentucky Derby on, hopefully on his resume down the road, he wants the horse to train there for a couple of weeks. And this is the perfect time to do it and see if he actually likes that surface, because it's a little unique.
Yeah, well, and that's what he did with Sandman, too. He got Sandman down there early, and he debuted at Churchill, ran in the Iroquois. So, yeah, Mark is always thinking 2 steps ahead. Yep. That's what makes him a dual Hall of Famer. But, yeah, I know it's obviously super exciting. Undefeated 2-year-old. He's all the buzz at Saratoga. So, can't wait to see what's next. I do want to mention, since I was out at Del Mar, there's a really, really impressive performance from Seismic Beauty. Yes. In the Clement Hirsch in the Grade 1. That was a pretty stacked race. It wasn't, there was only 6 horses, but, had Copion in there. He had Bafford's other filly, Rishi, who was pretty nice. She got a 110 buyer for that race and took all the heat early on and kept going. That's a My Race horse. There was 5,000 people in that winner's circle too. But she's, to me, that's a good enough performance on its own. And she had other good races that makes her the horse to be in the filly mare division. No disrespect to Torpedo Anna, and we're here at Fasig, Torpedo Anna, Fasig grad, but to me, she hasn't come back quite as impressively as she ran last year. Torpedo Anna. So Seismic Beauty, to me, that stamped her as the leader in the division. Right.
And like we've been talking about before, there's so many good 3-year-old fillies, and we're going to see them all in the Alabama next week, as a matter of fact. So it's going to be interesting to see how these 3-year-olds continue to develop. But yeah, I think right now, if push came to shove, she would be the horse that I would bet on over Torpedo Anna, because Torpedo Anna's kind of lost her luster a little bit the past couple of races. And again, it's hard to expect a horse of that caliber to consistently stay up at that level. Right. And she doesn't have to. No. She could fall back a little bit and still be the leader in the division.
Yeah, I mean, she's already a superstar. She's got her resume is it's pristine no matter what happens from here on out. I do want to, we got a bunch of guests we want to get to, but I do want to get your take on the sale because, I'm looking past the camera right here. I'm looking right at the stall of Hip 34, who was the first flight line baby to go through the ring, and West Point was able to get the winning bid at $1.1 million, and the response has been incredible from the partners. Really? She's already sold out, which is just, for a horse that's that expensive.
In 12 hours.
I know. For a horse that's that expensive and that we bought on our own is just remarkable. Right. But, what was your take on the action last night here at Saratoga, Fasig-Saratoga?
I think overall, and we'll get into a little bit more with Boyd and Anna, but I think that overall there's a euphoric feeling here. People are really excited about the industry. People are really excited about these, yearlings, especially first crop horses, like Flightline. But some of the tried and true horses, the Good Magic that sold for 7 figures, there were 9 horses that sold for $1 million or more last night, and that was just one night. And Joe, what's hard to believe is in 2024, the Fasig-Saratoga sale, the select sale, hit all kinds of records. In gross numbers, in median, and in average. Guess what? Last night they eclipsed that in median and in averages. So it's only going to get better.
It's like it's fantasy land here, honestly, because there's just the money that's thrown around, and it's because there's only 222 hips. There's so much demand and very little supply, relatively speaking. But a horse sells for $300,000. You're like, what's wrong with that horse? You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
It's the only place where it's like that. But it's the buzz on the ground is palpable. Yeah. It's incredible. It's unlike any other sale, and it takes a great team here at Fasig to put on this show. And I'm looking forward to talking to Boyd and Anna about that, and just all the team members all around the grounds that make sure that everybody has a great time, and also the horses stay safe, because if you've never been here before, the barns are right behind the camera here, and the sales ring is right back here, and there's people surrounding the sales ring, and there's thousands of people, and they have to clear everybody out every time a horse comes from the barn to go through the ring, and they do an incredible job. And it's if you haven't been to this sale, you definitely need to go.
And these are young horses. These are horses that really, all of this is new. They don't train here, they don't live here, they don't stable here, except for the couple of days before the sale. So they're taken completely out of their element into an entirely different environment, and one where there's people everywhere. And there's a lot of experts that are here, a lot of people who have been in the business for a long time, and there's a lot of novices that are kind of here that are looky-loos and also kind of enjoying the show. And the horses don't know from, who understands what a horse is going to do and everything like that. But for the most part, they do a great job. The horses themselves do a phenomenal job, I'm talking about. The horsemen are top of their game. And they understand that they have very valuable assets on the other end of that shank, and they do whatever they can to make sure that those horses stay safe. But you're right, there's an excitement here. And Joe, I think a lot of it also, we talk about this, my dad and I talk about this a lot in the business side, but the big, beautiful bill, whether politically or not you agree with it, it is infusing energy into industries like ours, where people are saying, hey, I can depreciate this entire horse by buying it, in the calendar year of 2025. I'm all over it. And I think you're seeing that more and more and more, where people are understanding the economics and the tax side of it. And that's kind of driving the bus on whether or not they should bid one more time.
Yeah. Rail Talk is sponsored by Epic Insurance Brokers, one of the nation's top insurance brokers across key lines of insurance, including property and casualty, employee benefits, and unique specialty insurance. And I said that all without my notes in front of me. Who's better than me? Chris Moore is the only guy I would say that's better than me. Chris is the man. I saw him last night at the sale. So the copy is correct. You do see him at the sales. You do see him at the races. Give him a call. Start the conversation. I don't remember his cell number off the top of my head, but we'll put it on the bottom of the screen. This is a key time because a lot of equine insurance policies renew around yearling sales time. So you want to check in. You want to make sure that everything in your insurance policy is working the way it's supposed to. Give Chris a call or text him. You can see him at the races. He's just very accessible and a great dude, great to hang with. And, like I said in the Arion piece, we're just so grateful. And, it's been a big boost for us to have any sponsor, but especially the ones that, we know personally and that we see and that we interact with.
And you want customer service, Joe? We bought a horse last night. We bought a Vacoma filly, and I'm literally filling out the sales slip. And who taps me on the shoulder? Not the breeder, not the consigner, not the previous owner. It's Chris Moore saying, hey, John, I just want to make sure you want this one insured, right? And I mean, he was there. It was like spooky, almost like he was stalking me a little bit. But that's the customer service that Chris Moore provides.
Yeah, he's as good as it gets. Epic Insurance Brokers. And that brings us to this week's
Epic Performance of the Week.
Booming Voice is here, too.
guy's following us around. I thought he was in our ceiling, but he follows us to Fasig-Tipton as well. This week's epic performance of the week, I had to do it. I was out at Del Mar on Saturday, Kings River Knight winning in the California Dreamin' Stakes. We love these old stalwarts that, can race 4, 5, 6, 7 years old and still race at the top of their game. He's now a 13-time winner, 9-time California Stakes winner. And if you watch the race, if you watch the replay, there was another horse in the race that got a perfect trip and ran up to him right at the 8th pole. Looked like he was going to run right on by, and Kings River Knight said, "See ya." Nah, I don't think so. And I honestly usually think it's bullshit when people say horses know where the wire is. I think they just run as fast as they can.
Right.
But I think he is one of those horses that really loves his job and really loves to dig in and have that competitive fire. And he's, John Sadler has done a tremendous job, him and his team with Kings River Knight, 7 years old, still rocking it. So I just wanted to give a tip of the cap to Kings River Knight for his 9th Calbred Stakes win over the weekend at Del Mar. This week's epic performance of the week. So we're so thrilled to bring these next guests to the Rail Talk set. The president and CEO of Fasig-Tipton, Boyd Browning, and the director of client relations, Anna Seitz. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us back.
Oh, was I bringing too much energy?
No,
They're like this.
I was impressed. Wow.
No, we've got energy
Yes.
still. Okay,
We've got a long night ahead of
about
us.
11 o'clock tonight, we might be empty, but we're full steam ahead till 11 o'clock.
Caught you at the right time. So yeah, obviously last night was a booming success. You set records last year. Average and median are up this year so far as well. Just give me your first blush reactions to the action last night, Boyd.
Well, thrilled with how the horses sold last night. I mean, we had a very, very, very good group of horses last night. We've got a very, very good group of horses tonight. The sales grounds were electric.
Yes.
They've been electric like literally since Friday, and they were electric last night. We think there'll be equally electric or more electric tonight. It's a really good, strong group of horses again tonight. Great first half. We won the first half. I mean, it's my analogy here at Saratoga. We Monday night's first half, Tuesday night's the second half, but couldn't be happier with where we are at halftime and excited about the second half.
And Anna, I know you're instrumental in putting the catalog together. So when you go out and you look at the horses, what makes you say, that's the one I want for Saratoga?
Well, I'm actually not officially part of the inspection team, but I do get to tag along with them, and I listen to our inspection team. But I think it's looking for horses with, first of all, they look at the pedigree, and then with horses with really nice conformation and just, sexy horses work up at Saratoga. And there was a lot of those on the grounds last night and tonight. And everybody was commenting on the group of horses that our inspection team put together, because they did a really nice job bringing a really good group of horses up here, because that's where it all starts. And then everything else kind of.
It's phenomenal. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt,
No,
but I wanted to just follow up about like the logistics of putting on this show, because it's unlike any other sale in the business. You got to have a big and really experienced and great team to do this that has a lot of different responsibilities all across the grounds. Can you just talk a little bit about what it takes logistically to do all this? Anna, you can start, and then Boyd, you can jump in.
Where do we even start? Team. It's a team. Everybody, like Boyd always says, we all wear a lot of different hats from, everything, every table.
I'm not taking my hat off, by the way.
Every table's reserved for registered buyers and sailors. Every single seat in the sales pavilion is organized ahead of time. All of the barns, where every horse is placed. Everything. We're working on getting all the buyers to town, even setting all this up to everything is coordinating. And if you don't have a good team that works together and communicates constantly, and yes, we bicker and butt heads too, but it's a huge team group effort. And so I think it's not one person, it's just everybody together helping out and pitching in and doing whatever it takes. And
It would scare you if I told you how many people are involved in this process, even here at Saratoga this week. And there's still a bunch that aren't here. But between like the stable crew and Manny's grounds crew and the bid spotters and the auctioneers and a bunch of our office team and our sales team and the accounting team, that number is staggering when you kind of look at that. And as I said, the show's still going on at home. We've got, digital sales starting next week. Right. We've got, entries are being taken for the October sale, for the November sale. It's an ongoing process, but it really is. It's exactly as Anna said. It's the collective effort of a bunch of different people, and everybody's willing to do whatever it takes. The one words you're never going to hear uttered by any Fasig-Tipton employees, that's not in my job description.
Right.
because nobody has a job description.
I got a new request. My first ever, I had a buyer call me. He was so stressed out. He said, I need to make sure my seats are really close to a bathroom because I have to go to the bathroom a lot right now. And I said, we can do that. So we went and looked at the seating, and then we showed him where the bathroom was, and we took care of everything.
What did John say after that?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's great. And two adjectives that come to mind whenever we talk about Fasig is entrepreneurial and uniqueness. And the reasons why we like selling with you guys is because each sale has a very unique twist to it. Starting with the July sale, which historically has always been like freshman sire, oriented. You come here, it's the best of the best. You have the digital sales, and especially with the ones that are immediately, after the horse runs and the flash sale, and you put it right up there. And then of course the signature is Night of the Stars. How did you come about like branding those, or was it just kind of a natural progression where certain horses just kind of gravitated to those dates, or was that like a plan in the making?
It's necessity.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to be smart there. I'm not smart, but I mean, it's just we've got a formidable competitor that basically has two major ships that they plant, one in September, one in November. And so in order to compete with them, we've got to be different. And that's one of the things that we always kind of remind ourselves that we've got to be Fasig-Tipton. We can't be everything to everybody. But what we can do is identify those things that we think we can do well and really try to exceed all expectations, including our own expectations on doing those things. So we look for opportunities. We look for kind of innovations. Where can we do something that's not been done before? We lead the world in the auction world, the thoroughbred auction world, in swings and misses. No, we do, because it's not. Not everything you try works. Right. But it's a necessity, and we're trying to always see, and where's the market going, and what opportunities might be available, and so forth. So, yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask real quick about the digital sales, and Anna, you can speak to this, the reaction from the clients, because you guys have been on the cutting edge of that. It seems to grow in importance and prestige every single sale. You do one every month. What kind of effort has that been, just to kind of educate and bring along the public and the clients to be so enthusiastic and so supportive of those sales?
I think people were wary at first because they were nervous, they were uncomfortable, especially people who maybe aren't extremely computer savvy. But we had guys like John start from the very beginning, and I'm not trying to.
No, I'll take full credit that I'm the father of the digital sales. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The father of digital sales.
Right. Exactly. Because even the one we sold last night. Go ahead. Yeah.
We had people start. Yeah, exactly. We had people from, they saw other people try it and it worked, and then they would start to call and say, how can we do that? And we tried to make it as simple as possible, and it grew really fast, and now it's just everybody's much more comfortable with it. And but I think it was the early adopters really helped us get it going. And we got some good horses up front at the beginning, and it showed that it could work. It's a really good platform, and kind of started now. It sells itself.
Yeah, the one thing about the digital sales that I saw, I think it's very important to note, is we've always viewed the digital sales and our live sales as complementary to each other. Right. And there's a time and a place to sell every horse. And it's not always at a live sale 2 months down the road. And it's not always at a digital sale 2 weeks down the road. Mm-hmm. And we've tried to really, make sure that we are very cognizant of the needs of our clients, and try to give them good advice, like what makes the most sense for you. Should I put this on the digital sale in 2 weeks, or should I wait for November? Right. And you don't ever know all the answers, but we viewed it as very, very much complimentary. And the other thing is that we're absolute maniacs about on the digital sales is transparency and disclosure. There's a ton of information available to help make people comfortable. As Anna said, the early adopters and people that you had to kind of get over that initial hurdle of what kind of vet information can I get? And what kind of the videos are so important, the photographs are so important, just to make people comfortable with the process.
Yep. And would it be safe to say that now you guys have like 90%, 80% of that market?
We're aiming for 100.
Aiming for 100, just wipe out everyone else?
We're aiming for 100. We're aiming for 100%. We're worldwide dominate, not worldwide. Yeah. We don't want,
don't back off of that. Come on.
No, because we don't have, that's the other thing is some people say well, aren't you all selling digitally in Europe? Well, it's hard enough to know what's happening in our country. Right. And you can't do everything for everybody.
Yep. Exactly.
Try.
Last question from me. You guys made a little bit of news recently that next year at the Fasig Mid-Atlantic sale, there aren't going to be timed breezes. But I see you at the OBS sale. They're in March and April sometimes. So you obviously have your finger on the pulse of these kind of things. What went into that decision?
Well, we had the opportunity this year due to unforeseen circumstances with the weather and the weather and the weather and then the weather that led us to being in a unique position where we really weren't comfortable that we could provide a safe surface and a safe environment to have timed breezes on the Sunday when we finally got to have an under tack show. We put the cones up and said basically, we're not going to time it. We just don't feel like we could do that. And the reaction from both consigners and buyers as a result of that was very, very, very positive for the most part. Now, there's some naysayers. I'm not going to tell you that everyone's right. Not everyone's saying, great decision, you all have done the right thing. We also think it's the right thing to do. We think that with the buyers really want to do more. The bulk of the buyers want to be able to not just rely on an eighth of a mile breeze as fast as you can go on a certain day. And I think that there's outstanding horsemen and horsewomen on both the consignor side and the buyer side. And I think that's one of the things that we might have a little bit, the pendulum may have swung a little too far, is that the emphasis on the times may have really created a sense of the times are more important than the basic horsemanship.
Right.
And I think some of the best horsemen and the best horsewomen in the world are in Ocala. They're breaking 2-year-olds and they're selling 2-year-olds. And I think that on a long-term basis, this gives them an opportunity to really shine and produce a better product for the marketplace.
Right, absolutely. And we spoke about it at great length on our show, just about the importance of the decision you made and how, as an industry leader, you guys almost were in a unique situation to allow the industry to do that and go in that direction. Because if you hadn't said, this is what we're doing, I don't know if things would have changed in that market.
It's going to be very interesting.
Right.
There will be some bumps in the road.
Sure.
Without any question. And we're frankly, we're prepared for some of the bumps in the road. Not everyone's going to love it.
Right.
On both the selling side and the buying side of things. But sometimes in life, you got to take a stand and take a position and do what you think is right. And I think we're right.
Yeah.
I really genuinely do. And it's not to disparage anybody or say what anybody else is doing wrong.
Right.
But sometimes a little change is needed. Yeah.
And the feedback that we've received has been positive in that direction as well. Joe, you don't realize this because I don't think you've ever been to the Fasig offices in Kentucky, but Anna in her office has 2 big whiteboards. And basically, like a stalker, she has down all of these fillies that she wants to have at the November Night of the Stars. And then when she gets them, she does what?
I get my purple, because the Night of the Stars is purple color, so I get my purple marker out and then I put a big circle around it. And,
right. And when she doesn't get one, what happens? Aside from the death threat.
May or may not have done skull and crossbones before.
So one of the fillies that's on her board right now, and this is new to you guys, one of the fillies that's on the board right now is our filly Vixen, is grade 1 placed and a graded stake and everything like that. And I wanted to tell you guys on our 100th show that she is going to be entered into the Night of the Stars. Yes. So you can circle her. You can circle her with purple. Thank you for everything that you do. It's not just because you're a sponsor, although it didn't hurt. Yeah. But certainly we appreciate our relationship with you, and we know that just like our other big fillies that we've sold Night of the Stars, that she will fit there, and you guys will do everything in your power to make sure that she goes to a great home. So thank you for accepting her. Thank you for all your hard work on and diligence. And now you can stop the death threats.
Get that purple marker out.
Get that purple marker out, exactly.
Can I talk about the Belmont Child Care really quick?
Oh, sorry, yes.
I'm a board member of the Belmont Child Care, which is the Anna House, and I left a board meeting early to come over here. And since I did, I talked to John, and I just told Mr. Green that the Green Group has to make a donation on behalf of the Belmont Child Care because it's such a great charity, and we're here in Saratoga, and it helps so many children. And
so we'll put that information up here so you can.
I'm going to do a shameless plug because it is a really awesome charity, and these children, it's really changing their lives. So
absolutely.
Nobody can say no to her.
Yeah.
I mean, she's exactly. Yeah.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
So by all means, we'll put the information here so that way if you want to make a contribution or at least see more about this wonderful, wonderful cause, or you can just call Anna. We'll put her cell number on the bottom also.
Oh, sure,
or you
for
can
that,
see it.
if it's that reason, you can call me.
Exactly, or it's on the bathroom wall. Either way, you can look at her cell phone. But yes,
Okay.
Wait, I want a clarification. It's the Anna house, not the
Not the
Anna
Anna
house.
house.
Okay, it's the Anna. Yeah, but it's
like
not
Torpedo
her. It's
Anna.
not her
Everyone thinks-
residence that we're doing this. I mean,
it's not for the addition. No,
Right, yeah.
Good clarification.
Yeah, I
Boyd.
just want to
Thank you.
make sure that
Thank
we.
you,
Yeah.
All right.
Daggone it.
Awesome.
I was looking forward to
You're
that.
so close.
No
Bathroom
home renovation.
renovation.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for the time. I know it's a busy couple of days for you, and obviously for the partnership and the sponsorship. We had 100 episodes, large part because of you guys. You're a first flagship sponsor for us. So thanks for the time and continued success tonight. Real Talk is sponsored by Arion Pedigrees, the worldwide leader in thoroughbred pedigrees. You know our buddy Andrew Stewart. He's been with us since the old show, and he's the man. We always have a great time talking to him, hanging out with him. But his company, to me, this is the time of the year where their data is the most valuable. You know, you're at the sales, you want to know crosses, you want to know pedigree reports, you want to know sales results so you can compare it when you're thinking about what kind of budget you want to have for certain yearlings. That's a huge, huge resource for you. And, you know, their pedigrees go so deep, 5 dams, links to race records, and like I said, sales results. Also, if you're handicapping at Saratoga, you know, you got 2-year-olds, a lot of 2-year-olds running on the grass, running short, running long. This is the kind of stuff you want to know. And it's that gives you a little bit of an edge, whether you're a handicapper, whether you're a buyer, whether you're a seller. Also, if you're planning matings for 2026, that's a huge plus. And, you know, they just do a terrific job. They have 450 what?
450 of the top stallions worldwide that you can get reports on, Joe.
Yeah, and this is the resource. This is the where the industry does go and should go for all their pedigree info. And we just want to say thank you. You know, we're going to thank everybody for all their support to get us to 100 episodes. But Andrew and Arion have been, you know, crucial for us, and it's just been great to get to know them and to get to know their product and use their product. We were talking earlier on the show about Ewing and Sierra Leone. When you see those pedigrees pop up on the screen, that's courtesy of Arion Pedigrees. So go check them out at arion.co.nz. Like I said, the best resource in the business for pedigrees for handicappers. Go check them out. So we're so thrilled to bring this next guest to the Rail Talk set here at Fasig-Tipton. It's a who's who up here. The president and CEO of TaylorMade, Mark Taylor. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on. It's a great setting, Saratoga. Beautiful weather, beautiful horses, sales going well.
Yeah.
So glad to be here.
Where would you rather be? Let's just get your first blush reactions from night one of the sale. You know, average, median were up. You guys did well. You know, what was your reaction from last night?
Yeah, I thought it was a great sale. You know, when you see horses going through and bringing north of 500,000 and it's just routine, like it's, you know, there's no fanfare. They're just clicking off and you're getting more electricity on the top end. It just, you know, you can just feel it. It's one of those things where the statistics at the end of the night will show a picture, but then you feel that in the crowd and in the bidding. And there was just a lot of energy here last night. So I was very, very pleased.
Right. And Mark, what goes through your process when you look at the whole scope of yearlings in the crop of your clients, and you say, here's the 20 or 25 that we want to bring up to Saratoga? What like gets them over to the finish line as far as that's a Saratoga horse, that one's not?
So I think part of it is just trying to help the customers reach their goals, right? So a lot of our customers, they want to bring a horse to Saratoga because that's one of the fringe benefits of breeding horses. You get to do fun things like this, right? So there's a lot of our customers that say, hey, I might have 6 yearlings or 8 yearlings or 20 yearlings or 3 yearlings. Is there one that you think would fit Saratoga? And sometimes they have them and sometimes they don't. One stat that really jumps out at me is, you know, we've run the data and the average person looks at a horse 6 times at Saratoga before they raise their hand, or their group of people. Really? If you go to Keeneland September, like maybe book 2 or 3, you're probably around 3.5 times. So you have to have a horse that's going to stand up those extra 2 or 3 shows, right? If they've got an imperfection, eventually somebody's going to start focusing on it. Right. So you really need to take a horse up here that's just the whole package. You have to have movement and walk, and then you've got to have a good mind to handle the ship. And, you know, there's a lot going on here. It's a lot to ask a young horse to do. Get on a van, ride up here, and then immediately jump off, 1 day of rest, and then you're going. So that's one group of customers. Other people just say, hey, I don't care, Saratoga, September, July, October, whatever. Just get me the most money for my horses. And then there's all sorts of other variables that come in, like what's the spread of that stallion? Like this year, these freshman sires bred a lot of mares, more than they even had in recent past years. So we wanted to say, hey, if we've got a bunch of early votings or golden pals or cyberknives or whatever, how are we going to spread those across the sales so we don't get saturation in one point? So, that's an important component of the decision making. And then those intangibles. The one thing is, you can say, hey, this horse, we think it's a $400,000 horse. And it might be a $400,000 horse at September book 2. But if you bring it here, does it have that X factor that the 6th time they come, they go, wow, I'm in love with this horse, and maybe you end up getting 5 or 6 for it. So that's a long answer, but there's a lot of variables, and we've been doing it a long time, and that's the process we go through.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. It kind of leads into my next question. One of the things we talk about on the show about TaylorMade, you guys sell horses for Jon, and you do a great job marketing your horses, and that's a big part of it. It's not just the upbringing, but it's also bringing them to the market in the best possible light. At a sale like this, where there's only 200 some odd hips, where everybody is pretty much an A-lister and the spotlight's on everybody, how do you separate those horses from a marketing standpoint?
So there's lots of different ways you can promote horses these days. I mean, you've got like what we would say media, whether it's print advertising, social media, you're doing email blasts, you're doing this
Podcast.
real talk. So there's lots of different ways to approach that. But at the end of the day, okay, you've got a condensed group of buyers all in a small town with 200 beautiful horses, right? So the people that are going to bid are typically here. You don't have to go get their attention and say, please come. Mm-hmm. So it really comes down in a lot of ways to just horsemanship. I mean, you've got to be a little better than everybody else at getting that horse to ship up here, stay healthy, stay happy, and present themselves to the best of their ability, because that's the fine line. If one horse is dragging, or if it's tucked up too much, or if it's just having a bad day, that's horse is going to come off the list, and the other one that's moving forward. So, there's no way to do that with 100% effectiveness all the time, but we're consumed with that. Like, do these horses get the proper fluids? Making sure they're staying on their feed, making sure, they're bedded deep, let them sleep. I mean, that's, you got to do all those little things that, honestly, it's kind of boring, but that's arguably the most important thing.
Right. And Mark, you guys have a finger, in the pie of so many different aspects of this industry, from, obviously from selling yearlings, selling broodmares, selling weanlings. Then you also have pinnacling, groups that you put together. Obviously the stallions. What is your personal favorite aspect of what TaylorMade does?
So my favorite is working with customers and just sharing in their success, right? So, we don't own a lot of horses ourselves. We own legs of mares, and we might own a few mares to support our stallions that we're trying to make, but it's a very, very small percentage. So, we're focused on the customers, and we look at it like we own part of every horse that's going through, because we're getting paid to represent them, right? So it's just fun. Like, I mean, you sold a filly last night that you'd bought on the digital sale. You doubled up on the price you got. It was a nice, interesting play, and that was a lot of fun, And then when it doesn't work, you share in the heartache or the disappointment with customers too. But my favorite thing is just when you get to be friends with your customers, and you can share in the successes, and sometimes you share in the failures, and that's how the relationships get strong, because this business is going to have peaks and valleys. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing, when you can just get to where you're kind of all in it together, and and just play the game. It's a lot of
I'll tell
fun.
you, your brother Frank's favorite thing to do is to show up and hold trophies. You weren't there for Ewing's mistake when we're standing there. There's 500 people in the winner's circle. I turn around to go hold on to the trophy with Jose Ortiz,
Yeah.
and there's Frank. Frank's
there.
right there, like grabbing onto it like it's a life vest.
Frank has never met a trophy he didn't like. I mean, when we had California Chrome, Duncan put the deal together. Duncan found it. Duncan worked out all the details. Frank, self-appointed racing manager the next day. As soon as he started winning, he's sending out Chrome reports. He took a 2-year sabbatical just to, be Art Sherman's hot walker.
There's one in every family, man. There's a bunch of West Point people that are the same way. Yep. Speaking of West Point, we bought Not This Time Philly last night early in the sale that we're really high on. I want to ask about the Stallion barn because you guys, obviously Not This Time is the star, but you guys have increased your scope. We have a couple Tacitus's. We have an Instagram, obviously Nick's Go with Ewing. How much has Not This Time helped you guys establish yourselves to where you're able to go out and pick up a lot of new, exciting stallions?
So it's an interesting question. Unbridled Song passed away in 2013, right? So we had this drought, where we were trying to find that next horse. And at TaylorMade, we can't go out and just wallet whip people and buy the most expensive prospect every year. So we have to try to forge relationships with people who think that I plug them into TaylorMade. They've got access to not only the biggest, but arguably one of the best broodmare bands through our network of customers, right? It's not our mares, but there's really good mares on TaylorMade and then through our connection. So you got to find somebody that really wants to plug into that and get the relationship, or we can find a horse that we can buy that it's like Moneyball, like, Not This Time. Okay, he didn't win a grade 1. He's got the pedigree, he's got the looks, and he showed the brilliance, but he got hurt and didn't get to make it all the way to the top. So those are the horses we've had to take our shots on, but then Nick's Go is a little different. We're managing that horse for the KRA, tremendous racehorse. He had the whole package, but they didn't want to sell him. So that's where we come into play. If you want a place to put a stallion and you're going to get 110% of our effort and our resources, it's a good landing spot. So success breeds success, no pun intended. And Not This Time definitely makes us relevant, which is hard to do because we're not billionaires and having a horse like that definitely moves the needle.
Right. And Mark, my last question to you is that, your dad, Joe, started this. He got it to a certain point. You and your brothers have gotten it to the next level. Now there's the next generation of your kids that are all kind of filling the gaps and starting to move up the ranks. What does that mean to you to know that, you had the ball handed off to you by your dad? You guys have successfully run the ball for, I think in success that not even he dreamed of. And now you're getting ready, not you so much, but your brothers are getting ready to kind of transition to the next generation. How does that make you feel at this point?
Well, I think it makes me feel very blessed, really, because, the odds, if you would have laid Vegas odds on, Duncan cobbling together, he had like pitchfork and a truck and whatever. So, there's been a lot of people that have helped us. You never accomplish anything just the family. Like it's all these relationships, like I alluded to a few minutes ago, without the customers. And I mean, your family has been an integral part of that since, the very early days. And there's so many people, there's too many to mention, but next year's our 50th anniversary. And so we're planning like this thing, and we want to paint like the kind of the timeline of, it's all about the people, the team members and the customers who have propelled TaylorMade every decade. So like back to the next generation, I think it's just exciting. Thank God we have a next generation that wants to do this. A lot of farms, there's just nobody that wants to do it. They're like, oh, I have other interests, I don't want to do it. We've got really
they're
passionate.
smart?
Yeah. We've got more of the degenerate horse loving. Yes. So that's good and bad. But we've got a lot of really passionate young people, not only that are family members, but like Pat Payne, he was our partner. Yeah. He's got 3 kids working at TaylorMade. They're all great. And then just the people. Last night we were standing there after thing, and I was just looking at it, and there was like 7 or 8 young people that all work for us. And I was like, man, we've got a lot of energy, and a lot of, it's not like we're all getting old and it's kind of getting stale. We've actually brought in, I think, a lot of youth, and it's exciting moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I just wanted to say before we say goodbye that, this is our 100th episode and we're super proud to be here. But the partnership with you guys has been awesome. You're obviously top of the line in so much that you do in the industry. But we're super appreciative of you guys, and just the show couldn't happen without y'all. So thank you, Mark. Thank you for the time. And thank you guys for everything you do.
No, I think it's great I enjoy listening on a weekly basis who you guys bring in. And I think you give a different perspective on some issues that are important. Right. And it's all good for the industry. And you guys, to the extent possible, keep it positive, and you're shining light on good things, not just troublesome things. And we all need to do that. I mean, you see some of this new blood walking around here at the sale, and
because of us.
Yeah,
we feel like,
God bless you.
Thank you.
All right, but I love it. Appreciate what you're doing, and onward and upward. Keep it going for the next 100.
Thanks so much, Mark. Continued success.
All right. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Okay. All right.
So we're so thrilled to bring this next guest to the Rail Talk set. Couldn't do it without him. Representing Rail Talk and Babson College. He's representing DJ Stable, all of the influence in all of the areas. Len Green, welcome to the show.
Good to be here. Imagine 100. I bet against it.
Yeah, you bet
I would have too.
Yeah.
I would have too. Just
Congratulations, you guys, Patty, and the whole crew. It's amazing. Not only that you're still operating and you're building and growing, but you're actually influencing the industry, which is just amazing. You're not just bringing people on to bring people on. There's a message here, and the smart people are listening to the message.
All right, I'm done. Thanks. Thanks for that ad, Len. We appreciate it. No, it's we're obviously we couldn't do it without you, and we love you, and we love having you here. Tell us a little bit about Saturday with Ewing. How much fun was that?
Joe, it's an amazing world. Okay, I think if you're going to be successful in this business, you have to be able to pivot. You have to be able to say that's the moment. If the moment wasn't successful, put it away. So a week before, we come up here with such high expectations on Sandman. Not that Sandman did bad. It just found out that it wasn't in a certain class. Went home, long day, wait a week, come up back here for Ewing, and then boom, okay? And you're in the highest kind of area kind of thing. So and again, after the day, I look at the thing and I say, holy crap. John had 10 horses running, and almost every one of them was in the money. We had stake winners and Woodbine and et cetera. I mean, you think he's full-time here, but I know he's full-time with DJ Stable kind of thing. And so we're getting excitement all the time, which is just, it's yes, Ewing was great, okay? But, let's see, let's keep this to 10 words.
Yeah, or less. Let's talk about your second favorite homebred behind me, and that's Nitrogen, who had won 5 stakes in a row, came within a nose of winning her 6th straight stake and 4th straight graded stake, and now is going to be entered in the Alabama next week, and maybe one of the favorites and one of the only horses to be able to go from graded victories in the turf to hopefully a grade 1 in the dirt here at Saratoga. What is that like?
Well, John, it's very exciting, and it proves that people say if it ain't broke, don't break it, and we say break it, or we say have rain and we'll run on the dirt. And holy crap, you run on the dirt and it does better. Okay, then and you say, hey, maybe then. Oh, well, wait a second. If we stay on the turf, we have a good chance of winning all kinds of accolades. But if we win on the dirt, it's even higher kind of thing. Yeah, but isn't that going to, you know what? We want to take a chance, don't we?
Right. And these are all the conversations that are going in his head at any given time. All the different voices, with all the different questions.
Right. Well, that's why we're here to experience a little bit of that, the inner monologues of Len Green. Listen, in all seriousness, you guys have done an unbelievable job being successful in the industry with a 2-man crew. There are a lot of people in this business that need, big teams and a lot of partners to be able to have the success that you guys had. But I imagine it wasn't, immediate. Like, what are some of the lessons that you learned along the way in ownership that have helped you get to this point where you can compete at the top levels with just the 2 of you guys?
That's a great question, Joe. And Joe, I thought that I was at the top level. We won many championships at meets. with claimers. And I thought that was the way to do it because I had a competitive advantage there. And then Jon decided that he would like to become general manager. I said, wonderful, you'll be my apprentice for a few years. He said, no, here's the deal. Okay, I'm going to be in charge. I'm going to make the decisions. I will certainly ask for your advice. Okay, and I got to deal with people that I believe in and trust in and make decisions with. And that's changed the whole program, Joe. I mean, to go from claimers to the kind of horses that we're going into, I mean, it's almost now like if a horse doesn't win an allowance race, it's in a digital sale, okay? Because that's not the level we want to run. It costs, people say, well, doesn't it cost the same amount for a big horse that a little horse? No, it actually costs more for horses that are claimers because they get hurt earlier and things. But it's a wonderful game where we're playing, although you're playing against understanding that you're playing against bigger players with bigger wallets, okay? I mean, yesterday, I got to tell you, bidding with Terry Finley from West Point and up to $1.4 million and have somebody outbid us. And I said, wait. Or the other funny thing Terry said when it hit, okay, 900,000, he says, you think maybe we should jump in now? You know, it's just, it's just a different level kind of thing.
So let's talk a little bit about the fact that prices are going up and the averages and the medians are all higher. Is that a direct result of the Big Beautiful Bill? Do you think that's starting to bleed through and make people want to or have the ability to buy more because more of it's being written off?
Well, I thought the Big Beautiful Bill was called the Accountants Employment Act because, okay, when you're the number one accounting firm in the business, okay, they read the headlines and we read down here because we have 200 horses of our own kind of thing. So we have to know every nuance of that Big Beautiful Bill. But for most people coming to sales, I'm not sure how many of them realize that if they buy a horse now or in September or in November, they get the full year write-off. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Okay, many of them have had lost carryovers that they haven't been able to use before, and now they can use it. Many people have bought farms, okay, and they allocated so much to land and never took a deduction for it. And now they can relook at it, and maybe an awful lot of it becomes tax deductible. I mean, it's just that it is a big, beautiful bill, John, for an awful lot of people if they have somebody who knows what they're looking at.
Yeah, from the accounting side, for sure.
And from partnership, just to interrupt you for a second, for a partnership point of view, it's even better. To be active, in order to be able to take losses if you have them, if you're an individual, 500 hours. If you're in West Point, 100 hours. And what's 100 hours? You can go up to Saratoga and network with people, and they all count. Plus, you get a chance to have the top jockeys and the top trainers. And I just think it's just a wonderful bill, especially for partnerships.
You must see the 100 hours just in the amount of communication.
I was going to say, I'm doing 100 hours of work just this week for West Point.
And this counts.
Yeah, 100%. And by the way, that's some of the expertise you're going to get if you call Len up at what's that number, Michael Agresta? 732-634-5100. Or go to greenco.com. I had to put that in
commercial
there.
for you.
Yeah. But also, I just wanted to touch on, you guys recently had your 2,600th win. We were counting down to that. And then it was also the same race that Mark Casse had his 4,000th win. Talk a little bit about the relationship that you guys have developed with Mark Casse and how that's helped your operation.
Well, John's built the operation up so that he probably could get any trainer, okay, to do it. I mean, we have Todd Pletcher, we have Chad Brown, we have some of the top trainers, okay, in the country as clients. So it's very easy to turn over horses to them. Mark has been a real revelation in the sense that he knows where we want to go. Okay, many trainers have their own ideas on things, but he and John have a nice chemistry together. It's not we're going out to supper and those kinds of things, but it's a great business relationship, and it's a great trust because he'll do the right thing by the horse, and that has helped with, plus the fact that he can run in so many different places, whether it's Woodbine or Ellis. And plus the fact that he can take a horse like the ones we bought last night and then go down to his training center.
Right.
Okay, and he has his own track and he has different ways. He has his own starting gate. I mean, the advanced start that we get is tremendous kind of thing. And, you know, when he can call up and say, I'd like to have one of the Ortiz brothers ride first. I mean, that's a real advantage kind of thing. So, again, I think it's been the right thing. And yet, although we have stayed with Joe Orsino, because Joe goes back to the 80s with us, and it's a different kind of relationship and a different kind of horses. But that's been
Another great
very,
horseman, yep.
Another great horseman.
Yeah.
Yep. And last question for me is, what do you anticipate the industry is going to look like a couple of years from now?
Okay, there's plenty of people, John, who say, oh, you know what, it's only going to be on the East Coast, and, you know, eventually Gulfstream is going to get sold, and blah, 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 blah. I just think that every time there's a looks like gloom and doom, that's opportunity for people who see things differently. Okay, and I believe that the purses in certain places are going to be good. I think that the people who run it like a business, okay, will have an advantage. So in hard times, you want to differentiate yourself from everybody else. And hard times make you, or bad. When everything is booming, well, anybody can make money and you can do things and hold on to horses and do things. But keep on trying the digitals, keep on trying to go overseas, keep on trying. Each of these things means something, okay? Try the new sires as well as the proven sires. I mean, people say, well, hard spun's not very, very hot right now. Yeah, all it does is produce good runners. So let's just keep on looking to do that kind of thing. And I think we have it. And then discipline, okay? You got to go into a sale and say, hey, I have a number, okay? Now, that's what you have to do.
That's what I have to. I was going to say, yeah, you don't live by that by that tenet, but that's okay. That's okay.
Yep. We were talking about like with Ewing, like when we bought him at the sale, John and I were in the room looking over the sales rig, and it went up to 600, and we're like, well, that's not us. Right. And then of course Len and Terry were on their own, but you did well. It looks like you came away with the right horse.
Yeah, plus it's easy because then when I get past what John wants to do, I'm using his inheritance. So, you know, it's a win-win situation.
That's perfect.
And it's a great write-off, which we all need. Call the Green Group at
732-634-5100 or greenco.com. But honestly, Len, we love you on a personal level, but we really appreciate all the support of the show. We couldn't do this without you. 100 episodes, like just as much as your accomplishment as it is ours. So thank you, my man.
Well, one more thing, okay?
Yeah.
You got to understand that the Green Group profits from being on this show, okay? It's not that I like you, Joe, and certainly it's not that I like John, okay? I mean, the advertisers stay here because it's good for them also. It's good for the industry. It gives Patty a job, otherwise she couldn't
Thank
have
God
one.
she'd be homeless.
Yeah, kind of thing. The jingle guy couldn't be a jingle. You know, it's a lot of fun and it's great. And thank you for having me on, and thanks for doing what you're doing.
You're the best. Thanks. Len Green, everybody. So we got a crowd forming around us, so that must mean only one thing.
with pitchforks and torches.
Repole, welcome to the show, brother. Great to see you, man.
And then John is Len's son. So you got my favorite and his son, and
and the sidekick.
Yeah, and the anchor, whatever we want to call it.
Yeah, that's right. The journalism major. Yeah, that's why I make so much money.
Then you should have bought journalism. You guys do a great job for the show. I appreciate being here. But as I said, I'd only be here if Len was on. There you go. So,
and I'm only here because I thought his daughter was going to be here. Who last night was a star of
That's
the
what
whole
I was going to
show.
ask about. Tell us about joy of bidding on that horse and winning.
winning, yeah, that's the problem. Joya went around yesterday with me, which was awesome, and she goes by the barns, and usually we just have to make sure that they're just cute, calm fillies. And we had the first question she has for the consignment, not confirmation, is do they bite and are they sweet?
Okay.
So unfortunately, 64, we have videos and pictures of her kissing the Uncle Mo, number 64. I want to let you know that nobody on the team had her on the list, but she did. So we do have a curling we bought last year for $330 that nobody had on the list, that is training right now with Todd, that is training lights out. And as Todd Pletcher says, why do you need your team? You just need Joya, right? So there's 2 more tonight. I don't want to give the hip numbers because it's going to draw it up, but she's picked out 2 more. And if they take a mint from her and she gets to kiss him on the, pet him and kiss him on the nose, they become buys. She puts yes.
She's truly excited, though. Stood up and waved and I mean, you can't teach that. That's called passion.
You know what, Len? Honestly, I mean, I don't have a son. I watch your relationship with your son, and I think it's awesome. Like this is, for you guys to be able to spend this time together. I mean, I'm sure 90% of the time you're probably the biggest commonality is the horses, and it keeps like this unbelievable fucking unbelievable. This is so awesome to watch, and I'm just so disappointed. I want that for my daughter. I want that for the sport. And, me and Jon has 2 daughters. I was happy to see one of your granddaughters. Right. I didn't like that she brought her husband, but that's another talk. We'll talk about that later. But I was happy that they were here. And I went up to talk to her, and it's great to see the whole family. And then Ewing wins. Yeah. And then you're partners with this guy on Ewing. And that's that. So that's what the game's about, man.
It really, truly is.
Yeah.
Mike,
so, Mike, where do you see the game going in the next 5 to 10 years?
It's a loaded question.
Well, listen, we can make it short. The same place it's been the last 25 years, on the decline. Yesterday was a special night, but if you don't have $500,000, don't even come here. Right. Don't even come here. You can't get a horse for $50,000 or $100,000. You got to go to Keeneland, book 7 or 8. And listen, these clowns that run the industry are going to see all these horses selling for $1 million. I bought one for $1 million and $2 million. These were horses that 10 years ago, when there was more horses, they would have gone for $400,000. Right. So we're paying more. We're all partnering more than we ever did. Yes. Right. Yeah. Which a lot. Hey, instead of paying 1.5, let's go 3 ways and go a third, and go 500,000. But we locked the small trainer out. We locked the small owner out. We're locking the small fan out, and it's a declining game. It's like, but. My concern is when you see a patent for 20 years, down, 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 down. I don't know what they teach in Ivy League, but at Babson and St. John's, it's going to be down again.
Yeah, that's correct.
And the full crop this year is going to be under 20,000. It was 55,000 at one time. Owners are down. Viewership is down. Handle is down. The sport had a 100-year head start on gambling.
Yeah. And blew it.
They blew it.
Yeah. Yep.
They blew it.
Yep.
They blew it. No innovation. The same bet that you made when you came to the track with your dad. Yep. You could still have the same bet right now.
Yes.
Win, play, show, and a trifecta.
But now we get to go against computers.
Right. I was going to ask you about that. What's your take on the CAW kerfuffle that we got going on?
It's as ugly as everything in this game. But who's going to do something? We know there's not going to be a commissioner, other than myself, by the way. But you know what? There's also people that don't call out this game. And you know what? You guys have sponsors, and I love you guys, and I think you guys have the best show, and you're the most honest. But the most honest. Thank you. But there is, when I see, a Hillendale report, I have a funny feeling that it's going to be good for Hillendale also. And in the Jockey Club, they give a lot of money around to keep people close. And I'm just honestly, I've had it. This has been a year and a half pre-NTA, a year and a half pre-Pat Cummings. And it's now hit a wall. I'm not going to get appeased anymore. They're not going to be able to soften the blow. Listen, I'm ready to take legal action. I'm ready to get an attorney. I'm meeting with them today. You know what? I'll let you guys wait for me outside. I'll give you the scoop later.
What are you hoping to get out of that meeting?
What am I hoping? That they focus on, I always say as a company, and your dad and I are the best entrepreneurs in the world. Congratulations. We're both doctors.
That's right.
Honorary doctorate.
That's right.
At Babson, I was so proud of him.
Yep.
And me from St. John's. So we got Dr. Len Green and Dr. Mike Repole. That's how we should be addressed, okay?
What a world.
Joe, I want you to call me doctor from now on.
You got
The only 2 doctors have C- average.
I never got an A or B.
Nope.
No.
He didn't know that there was A and B was in the alphabet.
So, and your dad has got me involved with Babson University.
Yes.
And honestly, between you and me, I love your dad a lot more than I love Babson. And it's great to talk to the colleges and everything like that. And it's so awesome to see what you do for your school and I do for my school.
What you do for basketball there is fantastic.
And this is what I want to do with horse racing.
Yeah, if they give you a chance.
Yeah. I mean, I walked around the other day. And guys, I mean, you should follow me with the camera. Like, I'm almost embarrassed about the number of people that come up to me. And it could be a 10-year-old to an 85-year-old and said, you're the only chance we have. Thank you for being our voice. Thank you for trying to do what you do. I want to go around with these guys. That's what motivates me. This isn't about me.
This is a big fight.
I want more competition, so that means more people can win, which means I lose more. But I want it fair. And it's just not fair. It's a really ugly game that, remember, the full crop is 2-3 years away. Whatever was bred now is not going to race for 3 or 4 years. So if you want to fix it now, you can only fix it for 5 years from now. And it's on the decline. You know, Florida. Look what happened to Florida. Thank God you
If it
stepped
wasn't
up.
believe me, everyone here, everyone here is
DeSantos
stepping
down.
up. Yeah.
Come on, Mike. If you didn't bring DeSantos down to make your speech,
I mean, tell me what the Jockey Club did there. Tell me what the Breeders' Cup did there. Tell me what the stewards of the Jockey Club. You know, not only do I get him there, I bring him to the Derby. You know, he speaks at a podium. You know, as long as he's in office, that bill's not passing. Now, by the way, I didn't get one thank you from that room. I might have gotten a fuck you, but I didn't get a thank you, okay? Oh my God, you okay?
I was about to faint.
You
I
okay?
never
Relax.
heard.
I know you're a millennial. If this is too much for you.
Any swearing
okay,
before.
I'll coddle here. Okay?
I'm from fucking Brooklyn, so
That's
don't
the
even start with me, Mike.
That's the problem. I'm from Queens. I know about the people from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
You know, that's the problem. Queens is much tougher than Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So, all right.
When's the last time you walked the streets of Queens, Mike?
Honestly, last week.
What neighborhood?
Middle Village, that's where I'm from.
Oh, Christ the
Woodstock.
King.
Yeah, I went to Holy Cross, but yes.
Yeah.
So.
All right, go ahead, Len.
I actually believe, though, it's going to take something like what you're doing. And I'm not blowing smoke up here. It's going to take you to stand up to them, that they're going to suddenly realize that they're not playing with in the minor leagues and they can't roll over you. And then maybe that's what's going to do it. I think it really takes something like that. I'm not kidding you. I think that's what it takes.
Len, this is not personal to anybody there. I own horses with half the stewards. I'm on the board. I have board horses with many of the stewards. There are students in there that break my 2-year-olds. I haven't moved my horses. They don't text me anymore. They do send me that monthly bill that gets paid on the 2nd. But there's something about that secret. This is 2025. We can't have secret agencies in sports. We can't have secret groups. That shit might have worked in 1875, maybe 1925. It doesn't work today. And that room, you know, they have a fiduciary responsibility, and everything stems from that room. The tracks, they're limited. I mean, think about it. They own all the data. They own all the technology. Do you trust them with data and technology? I would open that up to AI. All these great IT people, open it up. Give us something new. There's no innovation coming from there. You know?
So you don't think the new head of the Jockey Club is going to make innovations? Whereas in the past
I like Everett a lot.
Yeah.
Sweet guy, unbelievable. He's, you know, I have my style. I don't know if you guys have picked that up yet.
Yeah.
And
it's subtle.
It's subtle.
Yeah.
And he's got to, you know, let me write notes patiently. The place is on fire. By the time you figure it out, it's on fire. The building's gone. And I think that honestly, listen, I shouldn't say this, but I love saying it. They only put people on the stewards that are just going to do whatever they say. Like, come on, I mean, listen, they're gonna put on all these new members now to try to get more people on their team versus my team. But you know, listen, it could be 1 versus 100. Don't bet against me. You know, and they know that. This is gonna end right for the fan, the owner, the trainer, and the game. It's actually not going to end well with them. Unless they want to play by the right rules. Not my rules, the right rules.
So if 2026 comes around and they say, you know, knock on your door, Mike Repole, we want you to be a member.
No, absolutely will not be a member.
Without question, no
0%.
stipulations.
What I would say is I'd like to have my NTA work with you together transparently. We should have a weekly podcast. We should talk about the issues. We should talk about the fans, the owners, the horsemen, the trainers, the people in the game, the breeders. Let's talk about the issues because they hear the issues and they sweep them under the rug. When one guy for the last 20 years has the authority to listen and just push everyone, they've been trying to push me around for 3 years.
Right.
Only because I'm persistent, psychotic, and determined is why I'm here.
Right.
They chase everyone away. They're not chasing me away. There's a better chance that board's going to resign today than me go away. It ain't going to happen. You know, you be out there. There might be 10 resignations in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say, fly on the wall in that meeting. What do you think they're going to say?
I don't care.
I'm just curious.
They better say, Mike, you're 100% right. The game
They're
is
not
separate.
going to say that.
You just said.
Okay, so what do you think is going to be the approach?
You want to have a lawsuit? Let's have a lawsuit. I'd rather have lawyers.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, I
who's gonna win it, Len?
never bet against an entrepreneur because we don't follow the rules. Okay, they follow the rules,
No.
and we don't follow the rules.
You know what's worse, Len?
We win.
Len,
What?
you know what's worse?
What?
They're making the rules.
Yeah, but
That's the problem. They're making the rules.
they're only making it because nobody's fighting them.
And you know what? They're making the rules that benefit them in the game. And I'm sorry to say that that's what's going on right now. And you know what? If I have to prove it in court, I will.
Right.
I fear nobody. like, I don't care if it's Everett Dobson or Bill Farish or Vinny Viola or Terry Finley. I don't care. I am here for the people of this game. Okay? What do I need? I do this with 2% of my time, and I do it pretty good at 2% of my time. Right. Okay? And I want to lose more and have other people win. Right. Okay? Because this game made me successful. It made me an entrepreneur. Yep. It built relationships with my friends and family that I've had for 45 years. My relationship with my daughter, I don't have to play dolls. I don't have to do makeup. I can take her to the horses. Right. It's great.
All you got to do is let her spend 7 figures, and then you're made in the shade.
6 figures. She's fine. The only problem is that when we win the bid at 180 and she raises 190, 200, I'm like, what are you doing? We have it. Calm down. But listen, I have nothing. It's not personal. Right. And they know that. But they've actually made it personal to me by ignoring me.
And that's
And
a
when you
mistake.
and when you ignore me, it makes me suspicious when someone who has your cell phone number gets board money from you ignores you.
Why can't you go direct?
Yeah, there's got to be a reason. What could that reason be?
So, Mike, what have you found with the NTA? What have you found has been the biggest roadblock?
The Jockey Club.
Really?
They have their tentacles touch everything.
Okay.
They touch every track because of the information. They touch every ownership. They touch every trainer. I mean, whether you like Heisa or not,
Right.
you know, they have a loan out to Heisa. Right. They've lent Heisa money.
Right.
Does that sound like something that we should be funding?
Right.
We should be funding this government agency? Really?
So you don't like the idea of Heisa?
At $82 million to catch no cheaters? No, I don't like it.
Okay.
At $82 million, who have they caught?
Right.
Tell me who they caught so far.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
They tell you that the fatalities are down. Right. There was a big article in the Pollock report. By the way, I think Pollock and the Jockey Club are friends. I'm just guessing. The report was in Indianapolis, Hoosier Downs, right? Is it Hoosier Park? What is it, Hoosier Park? Yes. Fatalities went down from 0.75 last year to 0.25. Wow. It's 3 horses. Right. It's 6-3. Right. By the way, I don't believe it either, by the way. Okay. I don't believe it either.
Right.
3 horses. Why didn't they just say it went 6-3? It's not a story.
Is there a world where you and the powers that be can work together?
Yeah.
Okay.
When they start listening to what I say.
Okay.
Because I have no self-interest. Right. I have no monopoly. When you find a self-interest that I have, other than making this fucking game better, I want you guys to call me. Anybody in this industry who wants to say Mike Repole didn't pay a bill, Mike Repole did a side deal, Mike Repole did. I'm the most ethical fucking big owner in this game. Right. Nothing.
Right.
Let's say
let's say it's a dead heat. Can we say it's a dead heat or triple dead heat?
I don't know about him.
Okay. Can we say it's a dead heat? Can we say it's a dead heat? Okay. But I understand what you're saying. It's not because you want to line your pockets. It's because you want this industry to be around for the next 10, 20 years.
I was a 13-year-old kid that fell in love with the sport.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I'm watching these kids come here.
Right. But don't you see the dynamic or the difficulty of the dynamic is that, you know, I think you'd be fair to say that you're bombastic. Okay.
I don't know what that means, so no, I can't say that.
You're loud.
That's C-.
You're loud. Okay. But don't you think that people in the industry are like, we don't want to deal with a guy like that?
Exactly, because they don't like that.
Right.
They want people who kiss their ass.
Well, I don't think.
Oh, no, they do. No, they do.
I mean, everyone loves when they have people who agree with them.
I got news to you. I build businesses. People love the way I build businesses,
Absolutely.
man.
You're an
I'm trying to build
entrepreneur.
this business. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm loud. I got news for you. Yeah, I'm loud. Yeah. Joe asked me if I'm an asshole. Yes. Self-proclaimed asshole. I'm okay with that too. That's
We
all
put
you're
that
gonna
on
get
the
out of
bottom.
this.
You put a title on the bottom. Is that?
I could put purposeful asshole.
Yeah, I like that.
Purposeful asshole.
That's good.
Because that's what I am.
You should name a horse that.
But I got that. They won't take asshole.
Wouldn't be approved.
Okay?
Yeah. You got one more question for you. You got two genuinely interested people who love the sport, and me and Joe. That's why we do this podcast. It's not for the money, because believe me, we're not making anything on it. It's basically to get the word out there, basically to try to help promote the industry, but also put a spotlight on what's wrong with the industry. What can Joe and I do?
A spotlight, and then a strategy and tactics to help.
Right. Okay.
The meeting today, honestly, is we all know the issues.
Right.
I'm going to sit there with them and ask them, what is this vision and strategy and the tactics on this?
Right.
Tell me about aftercare. Tell me about the 2,000 horses that go to Mexico. Tell me about this.
Right.
They look for optics. They're not like, if it looks good, it's great. I like it's the Griffin Johnson thing. Was it Griffin? What's his name?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that too.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
But there's 100 people we should be doing. There's 99 more of them that we should get. Yeah. I've built brands, but they don't know how.
You got to find the right people.
Well,
it's the
so you got to
thing.
find the right people. I mean, and ABR, and I think ABR has actually done a very good job with
I
that.
think they've been terrible.
Okay, then we're going to
Just so
disagree.
you know, they're not even funded with a budget.
What, ABR?
Yeah, they're only paid. Jockey Club only pays their salaries. I fund a lot of it. You're going to ask them.
For ABR?
ABR.
Or for the
America's Best Racing. I gave a check for $100,000. I have a deck on it.
Right.
All they do is fund the salaries, and they have to go out there and raise their own money.
Right.
So that's the truth of the matter. Okay. Now it doesn't sound so good, right?
So how come
what
that
about the
hasn't
Breeders'
been?
Cup race at 2:30 in the afternoon?
Well,
that
that's
Classic's going to be a lot of fun too, right?
So is there ever going to be a time where Repole Stable is going to have an influencer as part owner to help promote the ABR program like that?
We already have an influencer, right? Rapole Stable.
Yeah.
It's fucking Mike Rapole.
I know.
Okay? That's all you need. That's all you need for this sport. You know? And they should use me more.
Keep that influencing, Mike.
I'm gonna. But the point is, and listen, I'm not mad at you. And
No,
I'm
of
not
course
mad
not.
at
We're
you.
just talking.
But no, this is important. This is
Despite
important.
being a millennial, I don't take it personally, Mike.
I got this. You know, it could be worse. You could be Gen Z.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right. So you could be Gen Z. So I like you more than Gen Zs.
Good.
But at the end of the day, I do this with 2% of my time.
Right.
I mean, I shouldn't be killing myself.
But you love the sport, like we all do.
I actually love people more than the sport.
The people in the sport or people in general?
People in general, man.
Really? I think people are so annoying.
I've made, you know what? I've made 3,000 people millionaires throughout my companies. I give everybody options.
Right.
I make everybody an entrepreneur. Yeah. You know.
Which is a beautiful thing. That's going to be.
I mean, I want to see these people make money. I want to see them earn a living. They got kids.
Right.
They got family.
Right.
They got payments to make.
Yeah.
Fuck. I mean, I was born in a fucking 2-bedroom apartment. My grandmother and aunt slept in a pull-out couch. I slept with a room with my brother in Woodside, Queens. My parents, 1 bathroom, man. Mike from Queens is always going to be Mike from Queens. I'm going to fight for the people from Queens and everywhere else.
And Brooklyn.
I haven't lost sight of who I haven't. Brooklyn loves me too, by the way. Because St. John's. I mean, it's in my core, man.
All right, Pat's giving me the. Giving me the.
He's got to get going. All right.
So-
The only thing I'll say is, Mike, we're all trying to go about making this business better, and we're just going about it in different ways. You're going about it head on, which I respect, which is great. I'm trying to do it through by getting involved in all these different organizations and seeing how they work and trying to make them more efficient. And Joe's involved in other attributes of it as well, as far as trying to encourage people to be in the business. And I think we're all trying to do it in our own way
Until we hit the bottleneck.
and,
Until we
and
get
I
the
think,
gatekeeper.
And I think that's
Yeah,
ultimately
I think that's fair.
ultimately where we want to go. But I'm trying to do it from a different.
I know, but what I'm trying to say is, forget about the style. I got my style. It doesn't
Yeah,
work for
yeah.
everybody, by the way. It
Yep.
works for me, by the way.
Yep, but works very well for you.
Because you know why it works well? Because it's genuine.
Right.
What am I trying to do?
Exactly.
I'm not trying to make more money. There's a ceiling
Yep.
that we can only do so much, and if you can't break through that ceiling,
Right.
we're wasting our
No,
time.
I'm with you, Mike.
I gotta ask
you
no, I
gotta
ask
go.
one
You
time.
gotta go.
20 years. Why haven't I been asked to be a member?
You know the answer to that.
No, what's the answer?
You know the answer to that.
No, I don't.
It's because you're at loggerheads with these guys.
Okay. So anything about marketing genius and building brands and getting
that's-
people that they don't that.
I'm not saying you
so
don't
that-
deserve
so-
it. I'm not saying you
so-
don't deserve it. You
so-
asked me
okay,
why.
So what you're saying is the board is saying we don't want Repole because we can't control him.
I don't know
Good
the board,
point.
but that's what I'm saying.
Good. Yeah, you are.
Yeah, but
that's the answer.
I don't know what they're thinking, but
He's
that's
smart.
what I'm thinking.
He's a genius. He builds $1 billion brands. I don't want to listen to this guy. We can't control him.
Right.
Let me go put Brent Jones on.
Hey,
Okay.
now Brett's a good guy though.
No, he's a great guy.
Yeah, okay. So
He's not
he's
gonna-
a bad example.
No, it's a great example. I have 20 horses on his farm.
Right.
He's not going to argue. He's not going to tip over a table.
We won't
Oh,
tip
no,
over a table. He won't tip over a table, but he's definitely a smart
a great guy.
And he definitely will
Smart,
will
nice
push.
guy.
Yeah, but he'll
Nice
also,
guys. Nice
he'll
guys.
also push the
Yeah.
envelope.
No, nice guys
He'll
finish
also
last.
push the
That's why I'm
envelope.
in first place.
No. He'll also
All
push
right.
the envelope.
No.
I get it.
I
I
love
think he's a
nice
bad
guys.
example. I think he's a bad
He's a
example.
great
because
example.
He's a great guy.
He's a great example.
All right, we're gonna disagree on that one.
Michael, always a pleasure, bud.
All right, good
Hold
luck.
on, just real
Good
quick.
luck.
Give me a hug.
Yeah.
Bring it.
All right. All right.
Give him help.
Never
bro.
personal.
No,
luck.
never.
I will just shake your
Never.
hand though. No, come here. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
All right, Patty.
Good luck.
Let's go.
All right, so that's going to do it for episode 100 of Rail Talk. This was so much fun.
You know, it's
John.
also the end of my career of the Jockey Club in Tova. But thank you. Yes.
We'll see, bro. We'll see what actually makes the light of day. But this was so much fun. Can't thank everybody enough. Our crew, Patty Wolf, our producer, our associate producer, Nathan Wilkinson, who made the trip, our other associate producer, Julia Cresta, who is back home. Thank you to the sponsors, as always, Fasig, TaylorMade, Green Group, Arion Pedigrees, Epic Insurance. We are so proud to make it to this milestone. Thanks to our guests, Mark Taylor, Boyd Browning, Anna Seitz, Len Green, and Mike Repole.
Who's that guy?
This was a blast. Thank you so much for the support, and we love every one of our viewers and listeners. We'll see you next week.
Hopefully.
Back in our lofts and our basements for episode 101. We love you.
Thank you.
Ah.
Thank you.
Hey.